This is Dave McCain with the Right Tree Genealogy, doing a video now on the Family Tree DNA's group time tree. The time I waited on this was to try to get a new kit into the system and processed as big Y before I did this to show the latest information. Title of this video is FTDNA Group Time Tree Admin's Review, February 27th, 2023. Now, I think this is a nice feature. It allows us to look at it as a group or as members at a different visual perspective than the block tree. To get into this, we have to do the following. You go into your kit, choose one of your group projects. So when you go into one of your projects, you should see the DNA results, and you click on that, and then you'll see group time tree. If you do not see the option when you click on this and you don't see the group time tree, or you click on that and you don't get any information, contact your group administrator. I have a couple of projects that I am an admin, one co-admin, and one admin to, and I have turned these features on. But if your project admin has not turned these on, you're not going to be able to look at this data. So if you don't see it, contact your group admin. Now that we are into it and click on it, this is live data here. I go into the Barton project as the one that I'm a member of and admin, co-admin to, but in this case I'm logged in as a member, my father's kit. I have it turned on, and notice we have 71 testers in our lineage 1. With 71 testers, I want to take a look at that group. We click on this, and now I'm going to close this. Now you have a couple options. You could click on this to hide it, or you click on this to hide it. Those are just ways you could do this. On here on the display options, you could look at ancient DNA or notable connections, but I am focusing on this right here, the time spread. So you can actually adjust how the lines appear. So for instance, I'm going to take this all the way down. Let's hide this. This is how it's scrunched up. If you've got a large branch or large data set, when you go in here, you can have this all the way down, and it crunches this up like this. I'm going to go into more details in a moment, but I'm just showing you what's here. Or you can have this turned all the way broad, and notice how it spreads them out. Now, the benefit of doing this is if you're wanting to look at kind of one area and zoom in on it and see how the lines come in and read each one of those, and if it's too crunched for you, you broaden it out. This is all perspective of the user. I am going to set this, in this case, tight, because I'm going to step down through this. Now that I have the things this closed down and set the way I want to display it, starting at the top, this is considered, this SNP here, L196, formed in approximately 1196 CE, lineage 1, come off of L196. This breaks down into two categories. If you look at the block tree that I've shown in the past, you'll see one right here, the A1708 group, formed in approximately 1389 CE, and then you have this group, FT31442, which was formed roughly the same time frame in 1377. Now again, that is the mean of the scientific data, and we're using that for reference here. It has a range, as you can see. So now that's the two different SNPs off of L196, and this actually breaks lineage 1 into two pieces. But I also want to bring up another point here. All the way off of A1704, we actually have the last members of the Barton lineage 1. We still count these members in lineage 1. They match STR-wise. They match on the block tree with the other individuals in this area. They're just up one major SNP, and that is formed roughly 1106 CE or AD. And that those individuals actually do not have, their ancestors do not have the Barton surname. The purpose of showing this isn't to get into details of what our study is, but to show you what you're seeing as a member. This is what we see. These are his matches, and it shows how he's related to them. So if you notice this group here, right here, you notice this person has not opted to share in the group project profile. So you don't see this. There's a little lock key here. The reason there's a lock key is because this individual is not wanting any of their data shown other than that they exist in the project, and that is a privacy setup there. So anytime you see one of those locks, that means the person has not provided the permission for it to be displayed publicly. And then you have those who has opted in to have it displayed, still has a question mark. They haven't keyed in their country of origin, and they have not put in their prospective earliest known ancestor, or EKA. And that's why they're not showing there. So notice all this data here. Then, and all these individuals slide in at some point to the upstream, either the A1720, or they come in down here at the FTA 4755547. They end up coming up. This one comes up this way. This one, this. Here, all of them go to this A1708 and then feed back to L196. So you get to visually see this with lines. Kind of gives you a full perspective of what you're seeing here. Now we're going to drift all the way down, and I'm going to finish talking on this particular group. I've got another group I'm going to show that's a smaller group, and something that you'll see when not everyone's a member that actually is in your line that has tested. So anyway, this is mine, FT31442. And notice we branch off into two different groups. We have a group that comes down to this FT27902, and then it keeps branching down, and down here at the bottom, and this one, we already talked about this one leaking up at A1704. These are my two McCains that, this is my father and I here, and we know our surname actually had another surname, and this is a whole different discussion. We have two separate surnames that have taken place. That's why Big Y is so important to people. You can look at your name and say, this is my name back in history for 1,000 years. Well, as you do these testing, you could discover, as we have, which is very interesting to me. I'm more interested in the truth of the matter, not necessarily what the surname was in history. I'm a McCain today. My ancestors have been McCains since 1832, but prior to that, they were, in this case, Wetherington, and then prior to that, Barton, and then it goes way back in time. So anyway, looking at this, so my father and I form this SNP. My father formed this SNP, and I inherited that SNP off of him. Then we go upstream to this one. This individual actually doesn't fully know his heritage, so that's another thing he did. He put in here his EKA is unknown. Then upstream of this is one of our later testers, but not the latest tester, that actually carries the name Wetherington. We go to this one, and then this individual comes in, who is upstream. This is where the Bartons begin here. And then here's another person who's upstream of us from this, the FT27902. But the purpose of this is you see how this goes upstream. DNA doesn't lie to you. If you have groups and you're members of groups, you find out this kind of information. Now I'm going to show you another project that shows why. You notice these are solid lines upstream. This group, we came from this one, and then this comes from this from this, etc. up through here up to this one, and then lined all the way up to here. Now I'm going to go into another group project, another one that I manage, and also that I'm a member, and my father and I are members of, and show you what happens if you don't have the person in your project that is between you and another SNP. Let's go to the other project. Now I'm in what's called the Wetherington project. It's a very small group at this point. We don't have very many members. But I'm going to select the one that applies to us and hide this. And the reason I'm bringing this up is not everybody's in a large group. So this is the other aspect that you see. And what I want to show you here is this is the information we have. It shows this one was formed here. This is at FT 2922. So what you see here going into this project is you have two of the McCains are in this project, and this is my father and I. The other two have not joined this project. And then you have the other person who is a Worthington / Wetherington. They're Worthington now. They were Wetherington in the past. This is why I'm showing you this. Notice this dotted line to here. So this was formed in roughly 1636. This was formed in roughly 1910, and my father was born in 1924. The latest it would have been formed is when he was born, and the earliest it would have been formed was in his father, which would have been 1878. But the point of this one is, notice this dotted line. This dotted line is indicating that you go through this SNP, but you have missing data here. You don't have a direct connect between here and here. You have a tester missing or an opportunity that's missing here. And that's something I want to point out to everyone watching this video. You have an opportunity. If you see these dashed lines between you and another member, you are connected through this SNP. You have this SNP, but there are possibilities of having other testers, either from other projects that are not in this project that are matches to you already, or there's people that have not tested yet that will fill this in and give you the line that you're looking for. That's an important thing, a little admin's tip here. Go after that. If you see the dashed line in your group time tree, that means you have an opportunity to have additional testers done or have additional people who's joined the group you're in. Well, I hope this information was informative to you. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing right here and watching some of these other videos. Let's continue learning together.